A dog attack that took the life of a state of Alabama worker last week has raised some questions about what kind of vicious dog laws are in place here in Mississippi.
The dog owner in the Alabama attack has been charged with manslaughter, but would she have been charged with that if the attack happened here in Mississippi?
This morning, we have a live interview with a Tupelo attorney, Ray O'Neill of Richard Schwartz Associates.
Good morning, Mr. O'Neill. How are you this morning?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you so much for joining us. So, starting off with our first question, can dog owners in Mississippi be charged criminally if their dogs kill or injure a person without justification?
Absolutely, they can. As a matter of fact, about 10 years ago, there was a prosecution in Pontotoc, and a man went to prison because his dog had killed somebody. I believe there's also a case pending in Alcorn County where a young lady was seriously injured by a dog. So yes, an owner can be responsible and prosecuted.
Now, what are the primary laws that are in place in Mississippi when it comes to these unjustified dog attacks on people?
Well, it could be an aggravated assault, it could be a manslaughter or a murder. It's just if someone uses that as an instrument to harm someone and they have the knowledge that these are dangerous animals, then they could be prosecuted. It's not common, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now during your personal career as attorney, have you ever represented a dog owner, the person who was allegedly attacked, or maybe both?
I have both. I've represented someone that has had a dog that was accused of attacking someone. It turned out the dog was being taken by this person, so it was an interesting case.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm representing someone who was seriously injured by a dog. They have nerve damage to their arm. I've been prosecutor for the state. I've been a city prosecutor. I've been involved in dog cases where dogs have been stolen, dogs have been shot. We've prosecuted people. We've tried to, dogs are controversial, and people love their dogs, and they can sometimes cause problems. So if you're a lawyer for 30 years like I've been, you're going to have several cases involving dogs.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think the state of Mississippi needs more laws and stiffer penalties for dog owners, when their dog kills someone or seriously injures someone without justification?
Well, I think that the laws of manslaughter and aggravated assault are sufficient in those instances where the case can be proved that the owner has knowledge of the dog's propensities and allows them to hurt someone. I think the laws are sufficient for that. A dog, in effect, is an instrument. It's the person problem. It's not the dog problem necessarily. And I think the law will take care of that.
Now, you may be familiar with Emily's Law in Alabama. It can impose felony penalties on owners of dogs that kill or seriously injure a person. Now, what do you think about Mississippi potentially adopting a law such as Emily's Law?
Well, I think it's something that the legislature could look at. I think it's something you go slow on. I mean, as a matter of fact, they've had Emily's Law, and they've had a killing here in the last week in Alabama. So, I mean, nothing makes life perfect. I think it's mainly just a situation where people need to be responsible for their animals. They need to be humane, take good care of them, and make sure they can take care of dogs before they undertake the obligation of owning one.
Yeah. Well, Mr. O'Neill, one of the big reasons we're having this discussion today is because of a story we've been following for the last week. A state of Alabama worker was killed by some vicious dogs while following up on another incident where someone was severely attacked by those dogs just a day or two before. The owner of the dogs has been charged with manslaughter now, but would that owner have faced any criminal charges if that had happened here?
I think definitely they would. It's similar to other cases that we've had here in this district. I used to work for the district attorney's office, and we had several cases, and they are prosecuted. Law enforcement will investigate them, and if a case can be made, it will be brought. It requires investigation. You have to have proof of the knowledge that the owner had about the dog's propensities and their actions, but it's like any other criminal case. If they use the dogs, use a gun, use a lead pipe. I mean, it's a human problem.
Just seems like a tricky situation.
It is. People get emotional about their dogs, and we love our pets, and it's an emotional situation for people, and it's very sad for the victims that are injured by these dogs, because it's a human problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. O'Neill, thank you so much for joining us. Attorney Ray O'Neill at Richard Schwartz in Tupelo talking to us about dog attacks, if they were to happen in Mississippi, the laws compared to Alabama. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. O'Neill.
Thank you.